minor and medium inducements. Okay, so first, again, understand how they're doing it all over and over again. So if, for example, an internal inducement mitigates something, let's say you have the structures in here, this is your push, right? And that creates a mitigation or an imbalance in here, right? And now you're having this internal play like this, with building up liquidity in here, and then grabs the liquidity like being an internal inducement, and now also mitigates in here. Obviously now makes a internal break of structure here. You can look for this areas and then obviously push higher. That's the internal inducement in here. And that's just the mitigation area. So you're combining two things simultaneously. And that's how inducements always led to mitigations also. And you see that over and over and over again. For example, this one is exactly that one. This one grabs liquidity high. Here's the build up. You see? That creates the liquidity. That is the internal inducement, and that obviously leads to what? To the mitigation after the inducement. It's literally over and over again. It's always the same. Okay. Same thing for here. You see, there's the imbalance, never got mitigated. There's still a small imbalance left in here. That never mitigated it. Stay short of it a little bit. That's the equal highs. That's the inducement of these equal highs. Leads to the mitigation of this area. And obviously now it can drop. Okay. But let's move from the left to see what they're doing. Creating equal highs in here. Right? So what's the next thing they do? Creating a channel, moving higher. Right? Now, guess what? They induce this level in here just by a little bit. You see, that's sometimes even enough if they just ping it with like a few pips, because again, that grabs the stops of obviously the people taking the long trade. The stops are below this area. The moment this gets induced in here, they're out of it. Right? So what's the next target they go for? Of course, the liquidity, building up the channel, grabbing this build up liquidity in here for now to go short, of course, right? So they're going short instead, grabbing this liquidity, building up the false channel. Guess what they're doing? And breaking the internal inducement in here, going for the mitigation area. You can see the imbalance from this candle to here, mitigates this area, building the whole sell channel. Now has all the sell side liquidity built up and obviously can push higher now. Next day starts, they're doing the same exact thing. What do? Right? Making equal lows in here, making the inducement low, just to do what? Go higher. This now is the external inducement. So what do? Of course, it's the same thing all over again. Right? Building up this equal lows in here, inducing high, building up this whole short trend, right? Is in the middle of nowhere, does not induce anything to the left. So we expect price to go even lower. But what does it need to do in order to go even lower? It, of course, needs to build up more liquidity higher. Of course, they're doing it. First showing the false channel again, right? Also making the internal break of structures in here, or lower lows to get even more people short in. But where is the significant structure point? It's, of course, in here. And that builds the buy channel, induces these areas, mitigates the imbalance in here, just to do what? To go lower, to go where? At least this next liquidity zone in here. Of course, grabs it. Of course, after the inducement, there's a pullback, as always. Right? Let's just move further. Obviously, grabs to these stages, builds the channel again after it. Like, what do they do afterwards? Building the buy channel, right? And again, making this structure point in here, inducing it low, just to do what? To go higher again. It's rinse and repeat at this point, making this structure point in here, making it low, inducing it, just to do what? To go lower. See how they're doing it? They're building it up over and over again. Does everyone see that? It's very, very important to see that. See how they're doing it literally over and over and over and over again. So in a nutshell, what they're doing in summary, an inducement either makes people open a position, right? Or hits the stops of other positions, right? So guess what? Like this by itself, what does it do? This little price action in here. First of all, this induces smart money traders, again with this some sort of like demand zone, whatever, in here, right? Again, this is the reaction, the false one. And this, of course, after that will become the inducement, which first of all stops out the people who are taking the buy, but also introducing or inducing people, obviously the short side, right? Of course, breakout traders, trend traders, whatsoever, they think that's a new point. And of course, now, once they grabbed all the liquidity and built the false understanding of the break of structure, again, that's where the confusion unfortunately begins at, because again, people see this as a break of structure. They're now taking this as an order flow, maybe taking this as an area to go shorter. No, of course, that's the valid inducement in here. And the better direction is the long side. But again, no worries, it will become so much clearer in just a second.